Yeah.
Okay, what's the question? Go ahead.
So, can you explain why the Mormons use Psalm 82?
Oh, yeah, that's easy. Psalm 82, they believe in a heavenly council. I'm going to laugh. Sorry. Okay, let me tell you what Mormons believe, my brother. I'm sure they haven't told you. You and I, four eyes over here, and
Smiley.
yep, we all
Andrew.
okay. We all existed as spirit sons of Heavenly Father. So Mormons teach, this is historically their teaching. God the Father was a man. He became God, but he's still flesh. He has a body of flesh. He's got a wifey called Heavenly Mother. They don't know too much about her, and he's got children from her. We are all their children. So this is the Heavenly Council. You were there, I was there. We're all there. You with me there?
Yep.
So what happened was this council convened to have a meeting to discuss how we can become gods ourselves. Because Daddy God was a man, he became God, and he has a body of flesh. We, his spirit sons, we haven't achieved godhood yet, which is really confusing because if he has a body of flesh, how did he sire children without having flesh? That's one of those mysteries, but you can ask them because I don't know, right? Because if their daddy is got a flesh, he's a personage of flesh. If he's going to have children, you'd think like begets like, nature begets nature, then we'd have flesh. No, but somehow, I guess that was bypassed. So then they had a council. This sounds going to tie in Psalm 82. I just want you to see what they're doing with Psalm 82. And they came up with a plan. How can we become gods as well? Well, you got to go through the process that Daddy went through. So you got to be in flesh, follow the commands and rituals, the Mormon rituals in their temple. Then one day you can be a god and you can have a wifey and you can have children inhabiting planets. So there's a problem though. The issue of free will. If I send all of you into the flesh, you may not obey me, you may sin. So what's the solution? So Jehovah, Daddy's first son from his heavenly wife, said, I will die for them in order to atone for them so they can be forgiven. Now, remember, Daddy has another son. He has we're all his sons. He's got another son named Lucifer. He's Jehovah's younger brother. Lucifer said, no, Daddy, I'll go there and I'll make them obey you. I'll make them become gods. 2/3 of the council said, nope, we don't agree with Lucifer. We're going to go with Jehovah's plan. Lucifer got angry, and the third that didn't agree with Jehovah's plan rebelled, and that third became demons and Satan. And what was their punishment? They'll never become flesh. Why are you laughing? This is Mormonism, dude. You both are laughing. I gave you the receipts. I did the show. I went to the... You know, I swear, this is what they teach.
Man, Bill, we went for 3 hours. I'm about to get cussed out, y'all. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm just like, you guys didn't know this?
Okay, I'm gonna mute up. I'm sorry.
This is what they believe. So there's a daddy and a mommy. We don't know mommy's name. She's not that important because daddy's busy trying to, get her to do the cleaning. Okay. So why do they go to Psalm 82? They go, aha, you see? The Bible agrees there's a heavenly council of gods. But I think they didn't get the memo. You know why? Because according to them, none of them are gods yet. That's why we came in the flesh, to become gods. So how does Psalm 82 prove their case? So two mysteries. If your God is a personage of flesh, and he has children, and they all come up without flesh, how the hell does that work? Like begets like, nature begets nature. So you're telling me he's got flesh. None of us got flesh until we came in the flesh. Oops, I guess Daddy God didn't get the memo. Daddy, how did you have children without the body of flesh? That's one of those mysteries, son. You know what I'm saying? You took a mommy's side. Her genetics is stronger than mine. All right, anyway, coming back to the issue. That's why they appealed to Psalm 82.
Damn.
Why now? What they appealed to Psalm 82?
Yeah. So in your opinion, listening to you explain this, it sounds very stupid, but I don't understand why.
Even if I say it seriously, you got to be brain damaged to take that seriously. So, okay, let's say it seriously. You want me to say it in a serious manner? Okay.
Yeah. Be very, very, very
Okay,
like.
I'm going to say it very.
Very
Clinical,
serious.
Sam.
Okay.
Straight.
God the Father was a man who was exalted to godhood by following these plans and procedures. There's a heavenly mother, that's his wife. They're our parents. They had children, spirit sons and daughters. And that's what we were. We had a premortal existence. God wanted us to become God too. So they came up with a plan. I'll send you into this earth so you can be flesh like I am. And then you follow the commands and procedures that I will give you, the temple rituals. In fact, I don't want to laugh. One of the things that Mormons had to do in order to achieve godhood, they have to wear what I call magic pajama underwear. Did you guys know this?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's part of the plan. You got to wear this particular underwear, pajama, in order to follow the procedures in order to be elevated to godhood. Okay, so I'm being serious. I'm not laughing. Temple garment. Exactly. Temple garment. We call it pajama. Magic underwear. They don't call that. I'm calling that because it does magic. It does wonders. It's like, have you seen that cartoon superheroes, Wonder Twins activate. Something about that pajama activates a lot of things in the body.
Talking about Power Rangers?
Yeah, no. You're too young, dude.
Yeah.
My day was Saturday morning cartoons, superheroes. They had the Wonder Twins. So they'd hit each other. Wonder Twins activate.
Gotcha.
So that magic pajama.
Turn into a dolphin, or like what? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's put the joking aside. They had a council meeting. Lucifer is one of the sons of, I'm not going to say daddy because I want to be serious, God the Father. His older brother, who's the oldest, is Jehovah. He's the first one that was born. How are we going to make sure that we get all of us to become gods and goddesses? Because there's an issue of free will. So Jehovah said, look, I'll die for them in order to make atonement for their sins in case they sin and repent, so they can be forgiven and start with a fresh slate. Lucifer says, no, I'll go down there and make them do your commands. 2/3 of them agreed with Jehovah, saying, no, we like his plan better. 1/3 went with Lucifer. So they accepted Job's plans. Lucifer got angry. He goes, I'm not going with it. So his punishment was neither he nor the 1/3 that followed him could become flesh. So they remain spirits, rebellious spirits. Everyone else that agreed comes in the flesh. You know what that means? You're in the flesh, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the flesh. We were part of the 2/3 that agreed with Jehovah's plan. But part of the deal was that God the Father said, when I send you the world, I'll erase any memory you had of your pre-human life.
That's wild.
Now, I said it seriously. Anyone in their rockers will accept that as something remotely Christian?
Yeah.
Sam, what I don't understand is how they can be birthed of God the Father and the mother if the mother is an absentee mother.
It just sounds like a Greek.
Sounds like what? What did he say?
If she's an absentee mother, how the hell are they birthed from her?
Look before me. What did you say? It sounds like what, brother? Because you caught it.
Greek myth.
Go watch my session I did earlier. I said, this is nothing more than a polytheistic paganism of the pagan nations surrounding Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you see why they want to use Psalm 82? See, they're so wicked and dishonest, these apologists. They're not telling you what they're trying to prove to you from the council. What do you want? Why are you trying to prove there's a council? What do you believe about the council? Because remember, you weren't a god yet. How can then Psalm 82 prove their point when these are supposedly gods? But you're not a god yet. You haven't become a god. That's going to happen in the future. So how does this prove your case? It doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay.
So, and by the way, can I ask you another? Let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Lucifer is a Latin name. Can you answer the question? Why the hell did Daddy give Lucifer a Latin name? In heaven, I didn't know they spoke Latin in heaven.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because do they believe he's eternally present? I don't know.
Well,
'Cause I
that's
guess-
where you're going to have to be careful.
Yeah.
Because the way they define eternity is tricky. Eternity forward. But how can God the Father have been eternally God in the past when they're telling you he was a man
Mhm.
who became God?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
And secondly, Mormons do not believe God the Father created the heavens and the earth from nothing. He can't, because he's a man who lived on a planet. What they believe is he took the heavens and earth that already exist, refashioned and reshaped it.
So I have a question for you. So if I were to go talk to pick a random, let's say practicing, I went to BYU right now.
Yeah, bring up my screen. Go ahead. Yeah.
If I went to BYU and asked somebody this, what you're telling me, and asked them, do you actually believe this story? What do you think they would
I don't know how many Mormons even know their.
Like a serious practicing.
I don't know how many Mormons know their religion, brother. So
This
because
sounds
what's happening? Say it again.
This sounds very absurd. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's absurd, but you're assuming that most people know what their religion teaches.
Yeah, I am.
Number two, because of this, the Mormons are now trying to rewrite history, reinvent history, and telling you, yeah, well, our prophets could make mistakes, and we're now trying to go beyond that. In other words, they're trying slowly, systematically to get rid of all their texts and beliefs and reinvent Mormonism from scratch. But they have a problem. Because of the internet, because of their website, because of their books, it's there for perpetuity.
Right.
Here, in fact, I'm going to show you. I wasn't making it up about Heavenly Mommy. Daddy wasn't there. Change my underwear because Mommy didn't care. Okay, let me show you here. We're going to go here because people like the blog. Now I go here, so you don't think I'm lying. I go to their official website. Daddy wasn't there. Here you go, change my underwear. Oh, this is their official website, brother. Church of Jesus Christ. What does it say? What do you see on the screen?
Heavenly Mother.
That's their website. They say, we don't know her name. We know she exists. We can't pray to her, only the Father. In other words, their father is a misogynist because he doesn't want you to know her name and doesn't want you to speak to her and won't allow her to speak to you.
Are they just perverting the Catholic teaching on the mother?
No.
No.
Because this Heavenly Mother is not human, brother. In other words, it's not Mary giving flesh to Christ. This is the mother that was there before we were sent to the world.
Yeah, so we believe the Blessed Mother is the mother of the Son incarnate, whereas they believe the mother is the wife of the Father. Just to make it an easy way for you to understand how it's not the same at all.
Right.
Yeah, no, I know. Cheryl already covered that in my session today, that the Lamanites were a group of Israelites in America. They got cursed with black skin and they became the Native Americans. I already covered that, Cheryl. That was in my previous session. That's why for years, blacks cannot be elders in the Mormon church.
So where does these attributes are exemplified in the life?
Just what?
Like, where does Jesus? Why did they bring Christ? Like, why did they bring Christ? Like,
Why what?
Okay. Like, where did they get these stories from?
Oh yeah. That's easy because Joseph Smith claimed the story changed, and there's documentation of it. That originally he said God the Father, Jesus Christ appeared to him and commissioned him. He said the churches are corrupt. Don't join any church because I'm going to use it to restore the church. Later on, it was the angel Moroni, which I call the angel moron. Right? So you see the story's changing as well. You get it? Originally it was the Father and the Son appeared to him. Then the angel moron came, whom they call Moroni. Moroni. You with me there? You understand there's an angel named Moroni?
Yeah.
But for short, I call him moron, angel moron. Okay, and according to them, that angel moron told him that there are golden plates, tablets, told him where to find it, and they were written in Egyptian hieroglyphics. And he was given the ability to then decipher the hieroglyphics. And these were the plates of the prophets of Israel that lived in America, hence the Book of Mormon. So the Book of Mormon teaches this. Now, let me just add to it. Book of Mormon teaches that during the exile of the Israelites, tribes of Israel got on a boat and sailed to America. This is before Christ. You want me there? Before Christ. Let me just do this real quickly. Okay. You with me?
Yep.
All right. So these Israelites, God inspired prophets among them, not just the Israelites in the Middle East and the East. And so they wrote down the revelation. So Nephi or, Moron or Mosiah, that's the Book of Mormon. And they were given revelations about the coming of Christ. So then they believe when Jesus came in the flesh and died and rose, he made a special guest appearance in America to show the Israelites, I'm here, I've come, I've fulfilled the promises. And then laid hands on them and blessed them, right? Mm-hmm. And made them their priests. So you have the, Aaronic priesthood, Melchizedek. It's very complex and confusing. So this is why they believe the Book of Mormon is another revelation of Jesus Christ. And they believe that Mormon church is the restored church, restoring the true teachings of Jesus Christ.
Right. Wow. Would they be considered Protestants or no?
No.
Not even Protestants would recognize them as, well, let me be careful now. Because Christianity has become so washed down and compromised and perverted. You do have Protestants who will try to say, well, Mormonism is evolving. They're changing, right? So you do have some nut job Protestants who would say, yeah, we can say that they affirm certain truths that we can look at them with some compassion, because there was an event that happened years ago where you had certain Protestant ministers going to a Mormon event, you'll find online, pretty much praising Mormons as Christians and apologizing for the persecution and the attacks suffered by evangelical Trinitarians. One of those who attended was Ravi Zacharias, and we saw what happened to him.
Yeah. What happened to him?
That's why they appeal to Psalm 82. Psalm 82 does not give them any solace, because in Psalm 82, the council, the members are already called gods. But according to them, none of us are gods until the future.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the story has been changed, brother. I read that originally he said two appeared. The Father and Jesus, then later wasn't. It was Angel Moron.
Moron.
Do they try to convert people on this basis, or like what?
Yes. Why do you think you got now a very active, vibrant presence of Mormon apologists debating here? Jacob Hansen debated Joe Heschmeyer on when did the church become apostate, turned it into a papacy debate because he's dishonest. He then debated God logic right a couple weeks ago on the Trinity. Is it biblical? I just did a couple of not podcasts. You can call them podcasts, but live streams with Cameron Bertuzzi. He's now one of their famous apologists, and he's one of the most dishonest and one of the stupidest. But because he's so passionate, he's getting the attention of Christians online, and they're giving him a platform and taking him seriously. Here, let me show you what I mean. We go right here. He is one of their stupidest and one of the most dishonest of their apologists. But again, he comes there smiling. This guy right here, this clown. See his picture?
Yep.
This clown right here. He's now there rising. Before it was a guy named Kwaku. Kwaku, glory to God, after our debate, I sent him to retirement. He never resurfaced. This clown is now the new face. Because why? Look, he's light skinned and he's, light brown hair and, I think he's got green eyes or blue eyes, and he tries to come off as being nice, but he's full of venom and he's a joke. He's stupid. Very stupid. I'm being honest. If he was smart, I'd tell you he's not.